All right, our session is started. Now, first Shabab, I'm going to teach you a little bit about voice, about passive and active voice, active and passive voice. So when we're talking about voice, yani who and what is doing the verb's action, who or what is doing the verb's action. For example, okay, when we say that, what is active voice? Yani the subject is doing the action and the fa'il is doing the action. But what about passive voice? In the passive voice, the object maf'ul is doing the action. Yani what? Let's make an example. So you need to look at the subject. So the boy is playing the piano. Sure, this is the question. This is the sentence. The boy is playing the piano. So boy is subject. Play or playing is the verb. And object is piano. All right. So is this sentence is active or passive?
Active.
It is active because the subject is doing the action, the boy, not the piano. So that's why we call it active. Okay. Now, this one. The piano is played by the boy. Sure. Now, the piano is played. We brought maf'ul here. The piano is played, This is the most important part. Is played by the boy. So here, the piano is receiving the action. That's why we call it passive. The door is closed by Maryam. This is passive. But if I make it active, I say that Maryam closed the door. Maryam closed the door. But if I say that the door closed, the door is closed by Maryam. So this is passive. So Shabab, you need to know about active passive because this will help you a lot in process. Okay, so I'll just try to teach you the most important parts of it. For example, let me. Okay, here. So for passive, Shabab, for passive voice, you need to know the third part, the past participle of your verbs. You know the past participle, PP, we call it. For example, shuf, irregular verbs. So the list of irregular verbs. Shuf, these are irregular. Basic, for example, the present of break is break. What is the madi? Past is broke. But what is the past participle? Is broken. So it is zaruri that you should know the past participle of some important kalamat, like choose, chosen, made, made. Some of them are same. See, build, build, build. Some of them are do, did, done. Eat, ate, eaten. So you need to know the past participle. You need to memorize them because you need it. If you want to make passive tense, you need the past participle. It is zaruri. There? Okay. So for example, see, saw, seen. All right. Let's make some sentences. I see my teacher every day. This is routine, regular. So this is present tense. Present tense. I saw my brother yesterday. This is past tense. Okay. But if I make it, for example, in passive, I have seen my teacher. Or my teacher is seen by, for example, Mohsen. This is passive. is seen. Sure. We need to write the present and then the past participle, the third part of the fi'l. So here it is super important that you need to know for process writing. Okay. Now, grow, grew, ground. For example, okay. So you need to remember this formula, Shabab. You need to use the to be verbs, am, is, are. To be verbs are what? Am, is, are plus PP, yani past participle. Past participle. Past participle. This is the formula that you need to know for your process writing. For example, كيف. هذا it? The date palms. To be verbs. Palm. You know the meaning of date palms, Shabab? مو يعني date palms. نخل. You don't know date palms? Date palms. يعني نخل. The date palms. Okay, شوف. This is date palm because this is جمع. So to be verbs is are. هذا are plus past participle. What is the past participle of grow? Ground. The past participle of grow is ground. So you should write this, not grew, not for example, this is the past, but this is the past participle. So you need to write this one according, if you want to make it passive. If you want to make it passive, you need to write ground. Sure. The date palms. To be verbs is are, am, is, are, right? And after that, past participle. What is the past participle of this grow? This one, grown. So we choose ground. The date palms are grown in hot places. This is passive, that you need to write it in your process essay. Camels. Camels are. Again, what is the past participle of see? Seen. See. Saw. Seen. So we choose the past participle, this one. The camels are seen in Oman's deserts. صح? Now this one. You write it, you tell me. Arabic, language, Oman. Speak. Yeah. Make a sentence. Make a passive sentence. يلا شباب. It's easy. Make a passive sentence. Is it difficult? Some of them you're writing in the chat. Let me see. No, nobody wrote in the chat. Okay. Make a passive sentence. This is easy. See, like this one. Camels are seen in Oman desert. Okay. The Arabic. Yalla. Language. Is. What is the sure, when you don't know what is the past participle of speak? What is the mazi of speak? Past tense. What is the mazi of speak?
Speak آخر شيء en.
No, yeah, that is spoken. أيوة. The madi is spoke, spoke, but the past participle is spoken. أيوة. Spoken. خلاص. So we choose this one, of course. Speak, spoke, spoken. So the Arabic language is يلا spoken in Oman. خلاص. We made it passive. All right. Now, there is another tariqa that we use must. To be verbs. To be verb means amizar plus must and pp, past participle again. Okay, how? See, the English language must be. Sure, must be. What is the what is it? The mazi of practice, the past participle. Practice. The mazi will be again practiced. The past participle will be again practiced. Practice, practiced, practiced. So how do we write it? The English language must be practiced daily. Must be practiced daily. So these are the the regular and irregular verbs. As I said that, sure, you need to know the past participle. This one, past participle. For example, freeze. No, let me teach you some of them. Find. Where is find? Find. Here. Here. Find. Find, found, found. So the past participle of find is found. Fall. Fell. The madi is fell. The past participle is fallen. Fallen. Come, came, come. Sure. Chose, choose, chose, chosen. So you need to memorize the most important one. Not all of them. Some of them are not important, but some of them are really important and you need to know. If you don't know it, it will be difficult for you. All right. Now, Shabab, let's where is it? Is it over? Okay, yes. Now we will go to the question. As you know that, Shabab, you will get a question in task 1 like this. Sure. Read it nicely. Let me off the camera. As you can see, you will get question like this. By the way, if you want any more practices, this will be more practice. See? Here. As you know that for process, we have first, second, next, after that. This sequence, you should know first, second, next, after that, then following that. These are sequences that you need to know. See this one? Grow, harvest, ferment, dry, put. So Coca-Cola comes from the coca tree, which is grown. If you remember, sure, which is grown. The past participle grow is grown, is grown. Okay. First, the white coca bean pods are harvested. See, the past participle harvest is T, but you should write R also because your fail is plural here. Your subject is plural, jama. So we write R, harvested. This one, after which the beans must be fermented. ED, khali we put ED. Some of them will get ED, but some of them no. Then they are dried in the sun. Sure. Next, the beans are put. Put is the madi of put is put. And no changes. See, the same way. Then the beans are taken. Understood? So you need to write it like this. Okay. Now let's get back to the question. I wanted to read the question. The diagram below shows how coffee is produced and prepared for sale in supermarkets and shops. Okay, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. As you know that, Shabab, your teacher told you that the first step is what? You need to paraphrase the question. You need to paraphrase the question. For example, instead of, first you should write the, of course, the diagram below shows, illustrates, or gives information. You need to know these kalamat. Illustrates and shows or gives information. Okay? And the rest of them I'll show you. Today, I'll just try to teach you very fast because there are so many things to say. So Shabab, they will show you also maybe a picture or maybe a diagram in a different way. But this is one of them, actually, you can say. They will show you something like this. See, these are the process, the steps. Step 1, pick the coffee beans, dry. See, all of them have a verb. Pick is the verb. Dry is the verb. Roast is the verb. Cool is the verb. Grind is the verb. Sure. All of them have a verb. Then, so there are, how many steps are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 steps. Okay. Now, let's find the verbs. So Shabab, you need to find the verb. So pick is the verb. What is the past participle? The past participle of pick? Picked. This is the past participle, picked. Okay. What about freeze? Anybody knows? Of course, it will be the past participle of freeze is frozen. When you don't know it, it will be difficult for you. Then, where is it? Okay. So here, I try to tell you that you need to find out the verbs. Verbs. Okay. All right. Now, what we have to do here, it is very important. Listen carefully, Shabab. Very, very important. I want you to listen carefully in this part. This part is the main part that you need to know. So, as I told you, when you have the question, you need to first paraphrase the question. Okay? After paraphrasing, you need to understand the overall overview. We call it overview. What is overview? Maybe some teachers don't tell. They don't tell you this part. Shabab, overview, yani you write the most important changes that happened in that diagram. The most important points that you can see in that diagram. And I will show you how to write the overview or overall. يعني بالشكل العام, in a general way, you should say how many steps are there and the first steps started from where and the last steps is what? The beginning, the end. You should write the beginning and the end. So I will explain you here. Don't worry about it. So in the overall, you should write for the introduction, you paraphrase the question and then you write this word overall. Overall يعني في المجموع. Overall, how many stages? So you should write how many stages are necessary to make coffee. So you need to keep this in your mind. And then you can write, for example, phrases like this. The process begins. These kalamat also are nice to remember. The process begins with. Write it down. And ends at. شوف شباب. The process begins with picking the coffee beans and ends at packing into jars. Sure, how beautiful it is. The process starts or begins by picking the coffee beans and ends by packing into jars. Okay, so this phrase also can help you a lot in the introduction. بعدين, you should know these things. the sequencing, firstly. Or if you want to get higher mark, you can say to begin with. Instead of writing firstly, you can start to begin with, Afterwards, secondly, after that, then, finally, following that. Even you can write following that. Instead of next, you can write this one, following that. Yani next. Show how beautiful it is. If you write these kalamat in sequencing, your mark would be better. Firstly, instead of firstly, you write to begin with. Okay? Now you understood this. Now we start writing it. This is the introduction. This is the introduction that we wrote. The diagram explains or illustrates the various and different stages of coffee production. So I told you this diagram is about what? So first you should write the diagram below illustrates the different stages of making coffee. See? Various, yani different. If you don't know various, it's okay. You can write different. The stages of coffee production. Okay, here we wrote something small. This diagram shows the, for example, the process of making a car or producing a car. Khalas, full stop. Then I told you about overall. You remember overall? This is very nice, Shabab. Try to write it. This will make your teacher impressed because this in IELTS will write like this. Okay? In IELTS will write like this and it is really professional. Overall بشكل عام شوف the overall how we write and comma. It is ضروري to write comma. يوجد. I told you in overall first you write how many stages in overall. So first you write how many stages came. 9. It was 9 I guess. Huh? 11 sorry. Overall there are شوف يوجد. Overall there are 11 stages to produce coffee. شوف how many stages? 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. You count it and write this word, sentence. Overall, بشكل العام, there are 11 stages to produce coffee. Full stop. Then what I told you, I said that write from where the process started, begins. I told you, sir, the process begins by picking the coffee beans and ends at packing into jar. هذا your مقدمة. If you write such a مقدمة, your teacher will say, wow. So you need to be very careful and professional the way that I wrote here. فاهمين شباب? From here till now, until now, it was clear? Was it clear? Should I explain any parts you want? Understood it? How to write the introduction? Okay, it seems that you guys cannot talk. It's all right. بعدين شباب, we write the body paragraph. So now how to write the body paragraph. I told you that you need to know how to write passive that we practice. صح? Firstly, or to begin with, sure, when you write to begin with, it is so nice. Coffee beans are picked up. Sure. Coffee beans are, we just write are, picked up. See, pick the coffee beans. So you need to change it. Coffee beans are picked up. Coffee beans are picked up. Here, roast the beans. The beans are roasted. Sure. If you want to make it passive, you should write it like this. Here it is important that you need to practice. You need to read a lot, then you will understand how to make it, such sentences. Otherwise, first it will be difficult. But if you read a lot, then you will understand. Okay, let's continue. To begin with, coffee beans are picked up from the plantation area, from farm. Then they are dried in the sun and roasted in the machine. Or some you can say that after that. After that, the beans are. Or they are. The beans are dried. Sure, the beans are dried. I explained it. After that, the beans are dried. If you want to write it in passive. But if you don't know how to make it passive, after that, you should dry them. You should dry the beans. This is the simple way. If somebody does not know, so you can say it. For example, some student maybe don't know. After that, for example, they write after that, you should dry the beans. But this is not correct, huh? You should not write it like this. But if you don't know how to write passive, just write it like this. You should dry the beans. You should dry the beans. But this is not recommended. I'm not telling you to write like this. You should write it passive. Okay, like this that I wrote. The beans are dried in the sun and roasted in the machine. Afterwards, the roasted beans are quickly cooled down and grinded and mixed with hot water in a jar. Like this. You need to keep writing like this. I will explain again about the body paragraph in the coming session. But for today, this much is enough because I don't want to make a very long class. If I make it very long, you will be confused and you will forget whatever I told you today. Then, so whatever you learned, try to write them, try to take notes. I sent the materials in the WhatsApp channel. Try to copy them, try to write them in your notebook. And remember that, learning anything should be done with the help of phrases. Yani phrases are important. You should learn everything with the help of phrases. Do not learn anything with the help of without phrases. Any sentence, any grammar you want to learn it with the help of an example, sentences. Okay? Keep writing those sentences and try to practice them. All right, so this is the end of today's session. And inshallah, we try to make other sessions for speaking also. So maybe I will post the video or maybe not, because I want students to be active. I want students to participate in the class. If I give the video to them, this is not good. I don't want them to be lazy. That's why I am offering everything for free. Otherwise, you know, for one session, you know, someone has to pay 50 riyals or something like that. But I'm doing all that for you guys. I want you to be serious, responsible, and active. All right. That's why I'm doing all that for you guys. So thank you very much for participating, those who participated, and I hope to see you next time. If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, you can, send a message on Team or on WhatsApp channel. Okay. So take care of yourself and I see you next time. Take care and bye-bye.